Szewczaks. It's me, Maja Szewczak, and welcome to another Idea Sunday. Well, it's like this. Have you ever wanted to squeeze an orange or a blue lemon candy? I think I had wanted to do that. However, if I squeeze them, actually the juice is going to spill out of the fruit. But today we're making an orange and a blue lemon that is without the juice in this Idea Sunday for the intrusive urges to squeeze oranges and blue lemons, and also for use with dolls. 2 in 1. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to make an orange squishy and a blue lemon. At least I'll have something for those urges to squish an orange when I feel like squishing an orange. But without one thing, the orange juice will not spill out of that, because the orange juice can get messy, and that messy orange juice is not in that, so that's why. But first, I need to cut the squishies into the right size to fit those flowers. I'm going to just measure my squishies in order to cut them to the size of the flowers. So I'm cutting this here to get the right size before I'm going to stitch it onto it. And I'm trying to work things out in here. I think that will do it for the orange. Wow, this is so satisfying, and no orange juice is actually coming out of it. Now I'm going to get the blue lemon cut, the citrus part from the squishy. We're going to insert it, but first I'm going to measure it. That's good enough. And I've picked the right colors of beads, the flower beads. But before I stitch on the squishy parts, I'm going to make it look like an actual citrus skin that the citrus fruits have, because citrus has some texture that isn't smooth like this. So we're going to make it a realistic citrus texture Let's start with applying glue. I'm going to use the paintbrush to spread the glue all over the citrus skins, so I could apply the zesty glitter, the white iridescent glitter, before I add the actual citrus colors that I want. One orange for the orange and one blue for the blue lemon. Okay, now sprinkle the zest all over it. Sprinkle it all over. Just like that. That really looks zesty, like the citrus fruit skin texture. However, it has to dry. And while all this zest is drying, I'm going to thread in some of this wool into the citrus fruit part of the fruits. So I'm going to start here. And it will also have the benefit of it also looking like a real inside of a citrus fruit. So I'm going to loop it until I reach this. It's still squishable, but the most squishable parts are the orange parts. And it is looking like a real inside of an orange. So I'm going to close that at the back now. And now repeat it for the blue lemon. But the blue lemon is getting pink instead of white, but the pink will need to come with me coloring the white wool. But I want the part of the blue lemon to be pink. I colored it with rose pink marker. So now I will get it onto this needle and do the same thing with it that I did to the orange. Done. Wow. They look like realistic citrus fruit interiors with that wool. But these are still drying. The citrus part that has the zesty glitter on has dried. I'm going to now stitch the zesty parts onto the orange and the blue lemon. However, I will have to do that in a special way. I'm going to use white thread for the orange because I've used white wool for the orange. I'm going to set aside the blue lemon while I do the orange. So I'm stitching the parts onto it. But if there's any unnecessary things on the zesty part, I'll just go over it with more zesty glitter to patch that up. I'm trying to have fun with this as well as try to make it look as realistic as possible. Although the blue lemon isn't real, it's just a fantasy fruit, but now they do fantasy movies that look live action with realistic looks. For example, How to Train Your Dragon. Like, dragons don't exist in real life, but it's like you can make dragons feel real, although they aren't if you use the right textures. Just like blue lemons have a realistic citrus texture, but it's not real, but you can make it real enough to make it look believable. But now we're going to do a knot to close the sewing on. Just like this. And now I'll have to glue that to make it more seamless. The orange more seamless. And now I'm going to sprinkle more of that zesty glitter. I call it zesty glitter for some reason. And it is a reason. It's called zesty glitter because if I add it to anything, it becomes as zesty as a citrus fruit. Like lemons, oranges, you get the idea. Now that has to dry. I repeated the steps for the blue lemon, and the blue lemon is still squishable. If I press hard enough, the threads are kind of affecting it, but it's still fun and satisfying to watch it squish. Just like that. However, the thread is pink, and I want the blue lemon to be pastel blue, so I'm going to go over this area in pink to create outlines. So I'm going to get some pink, and I'm going to apply this pink pieces of wool to the blue lemon. Just around it. But first I just have to remove the flower threads and just use that thread for it. That looks better. It needs to dry. And yes, it's still squishable. Now, that has to dry. Although it requires more pressure than the orange. But it has a fun look. Okay, I need to let it dry now. I applied 3 layers of the glitter to the orange. And the blue lemon, I wanted to cover up the pink threads, but yet keep the blue pastel. However, it's turning the skin of the citrus fruits white because the glitter is white. Now it has to dry before I can get the citrus colors back into it. The next day, I went to check on the orange and the blue lemon to see how they're doing. And it's nicely covered on the orange, but the blue lemon, it's like there's the pink thread coming through it. And I'm thinking I should add another glitter layer to it of the same zesty glitter on the areas where the pink threads are still visible. Because although I like this is not part of the blue lemon, so I'm going to sprinkle this layer onto it, and the remaining glitter particles also get included to be in this blue lemon. Just making sure it's all covered up in glitter so I could have it as covered as possible. Hopefully this layer will work, but it has to dry. Then I realized the orange needed some white around it to match the blue lemon. Now that also needs to dry. The glitter has dried on the blue lemon, and the orange has also dried. The pink threads on the bluey lemon are still visible, but I'm just going to cover it in marker anyways. So I'm going to keep it pastel with frost bluey on the bluey lemon, just coloring it with frost bluey. Just like that. The pink threads are getting less visible now, which is a good thing. Or you can say it's like part of the fruit or something. I do like the threads, but I wanted to cover it to make it look more believable. And now the orange. We're going to use orange flames marker for the orange. It's a really bright orange color that we're going to use. And that's how it's looking like. So Szewczaks, that's the finished Sqeezable dollhouse blue, lemon and orange. Please tell me what you think of the Sqeezable citrus fruits. The blue lemon is for Astrid Fizz and orange for Nelly Fizz. Please tell me what you think of the Sqeezable citrus. And bye, Szewczaks. See you in another video. Bye.